Hey folks, welcome back. This is Chris live in Central Pennsylvania. How y'all doing? What's going on? What's the word? What's the word? Is grease the word? Somebody tell me. What's going on? Anyway, it is Thursday. This is the 10th. Can't keep track of the dates here. Get lost in the dates there. Anybody there? Another unannounced broadcast. Hopefully people show up. Let's get the tie straight so we look decent there. Anybody there? Bueller? Anybody there? Somebody's liked it already, but nobody's in the chat. There's somebody in the chat. Make sure I've got the chat working here. Okay, live chat. There we go. All right. Oh, there we go. Emil and Primal Boar, welcome to you. Fight's back. There's Loretta. Iron Brian. Okay. Tractor chat. Okay, people flowing in now pretty quickly. Good to see you all. Thanks for tuning in. Obviously, for some people, the notification goes out, or you all just happen to be online at this time. So, cover the news today. We'll talk about some things. I just finished a conversation with, 117 in the first minute. Wow, that went fast. I just had a conversation with Reuters news service interviewing me about the refugee program. I didn't work for the government, folks. That's how little information is out there. So, well, thank you for loving the show there, Pat Newman. Yeah, so I'm going to talk about that again. I wanted the audience to build up a little bit bigger before I mention it, but the conversation with Reuters, so just remind me. Oh, you got a notification. Good. Good to see people get notifications, and not everybody gets them. Excuse me. So, what was that? Oh, I saw somebody I thought I recognized over there. So, South Africa. Some people think it's good news, others think it's bad news. But South Africa caught a break. As I predicted yesterday in my video, it turns out that South Africa is not being hit with the high tariff. President Trump's decision to suspend for 90 days. From the Heck Port. Okay, Harpies Port. Okay. And thank you for your membership there. You're very welcome, Emil. Okay. Have alerts. Okay, you have alerts. Okay. WhatsApp notification. Maybe that's how people are getting here. Cool beans. Imagine if YouTube actually informed all of my 70-some thousand subscribers, how many people would show up. But so Trump made the decision that any country that had tried to engage this administration. Oh yeah, Tom, 73,000. Had tried to engage this administration to negotiate and did not impose retaliatory tariffs would have their punitive tariffs suspended for 90 days. Well, South Africa has made no effort to negotiate with the United States. So once again, Donald Trump has done South Africa solid and has treated them very well. And of course, the politicians will lie and rubbish Donald Trump. He had no obligation. Hey, Leon Lottigan, how's it going? He had no obligation to give South Africa a break here because South Africa has not sent the delegation to talk to the Trump administration. They've not engaged the Trump administration for 2 months after the executive order has been published. So there you go. There you go. Anyway, so I'll mention it here. What are high tariffs? Yeah, well, 31% is a high tariff. Yep. So I'll mention it now as the audience builds almost 300 people. So I was just interviewed by Reuters about the refugee program, the non-existent refugee program. We're still waiting for it to be declared. And I was asked if any of my viewers who have gone for interviews would be interested in talking to Reuters. All right, they have people in South Africa, but my conversation was someone in DC. So if you're interested in that, send me a WhatsApp or send me an email like people have done in the past, and I will get you the telephone number you can call to speak to them, okay? I'm not pushing or pimping for them. I'm just saying that it's in the interest of people to get the truth out there. So hopefully they'll cover the story accurately. So, yeah. So I just had about a, 40-minute interview with them. Minnesota, hey. Cool. That's nice, okay. Title spelling. Okay, well, that's because I had to restart the damn stream 3 times. I mean, I can't change the midstream, so you'll just have to wait till it's over. So, it happens frequently. I mean, I type something in there and it just types. So, but thank you for telling me that. Yeah. Be sure to hit the like button. 114 likes, 320 people. 90 days. I really hope our politicians come to the table. I don't think they will, PK. I don't think they will. And they've been given, thank you, like the time. They've been given another huge break here. So the Trump administration is under no obligation to give South Africa this break. Trump's guidance in this break was that any country that had engaged, and there were 75 countries that engaged the Trump administration about the tariffs, sent delegations. And there's a Japanese officer that's here today, and he's in my group, and so I went over and said, thanks. And he said, for what? I said, I think it's because Japan and South Korea sent negotiators over straight away, and they've been engaged with the Trump administration since the weekend, that Trump probably made this decision to rescind this. And so I think the world can thank Japan and South Korea for sending people over here. But South Africa sent nobody over here. They made no effort whatsoever to deal with this issue, to talk to the Trump administration, and they do so at their own peril. So they technically shouldn't be able to do that. The second thing is they hadn't imposed retaliatory tariffs. Now, South Africa hasn't done that, so that's good. But the European Union has imposed retaliatory tariffs, so they're not going to get a chance to get theirs rescinded. Anyway, now, to be clear about these tariffs for South Africa, it had been raised to 30 or 31%. They're saying 31%. I don't know where to get that from. It's 30%. So that was based on a formula that came up. Hope you're wrong, and then South Africa will burn if our country's not acting out. Well, PK, it will, but I don't think they really care. The things that the USA wants, it's not something South is going to give. That's why there's no delegation. Okay, Lindy, but let's be clear about something, okay? The 31% tariffs have nothing to do with the executive order. You guys can't conflate the two. Now, they might wind up being conflated in negotiation, but the two are unrelated. They're not linked. So the executive order from the 7th of February was related to damage to our national security, the ICJ case against Israel, and mistreatment of minorities. That's a separate issue. The tariffs that were issued yesterday, or the day before, the tariffs issued on yesterday were a consequence of unfair trade practices, which South Africa has. We give South Africa duty-free access to our marketplace for a parcel of goods and services, and they slap retaliatory tariffs on us on poultry, and they try to ban our pork products from getting there. And so artificial barriers and actual tariffs and currency manipulation are the reasons why these countries got this. So that's a completely separate issue. So all South Africa has to do is remove the tariffs against the U.S., and then we'll be in level playing, and it won't be an issue. And that is unrelated to the executive order, unrelated to Gaza, unrelated to Afrikaners, unrelated to our allies. So two separate things. So don't conflate the two. But South Africa's been given 90 days to solve this. But I don't think they're going to. They've already wasted 2 months not having a conversation with the Americans already. So, now, Parks Tal confirmed what I predicted yesterday. So once again, I was ahead of the curve. I predicted this yesterday. Parks Tal, the Minister for Trade, Industry, and Competition. There's no competition in South Africa. Yeah, so he said, we received a note about the decisions that were made yesterday, and our team did have an interface with the U.S. Embassy yesterday with regard to the overall engagements with the U.S. So yes, we received confirmation that in fact the 30% tariff has been removed from the list, so to say. But the across-the-board 10% tariff remains in place. So there's still a tariff, but the 10% tariff is in line with what South Africa charges us. Parks Tal said part of the reality is that it's just dictate that massive change is required. No, you're conflating things. Yes, Yaku, I don't know when though, because it's late in the week, so they want to get it done this week, but it might be next week, so we'll have to wait and see. So, when asked what South Africa was bringing to the table in its talks with the U.S., Tal said the U.S. wanted an arrangement that was mutually beneficial. Now, here's what's interesting here, and this is very revealing when it comes to this. Okay, so very important for people to recognize that Parks Tal, the Minister of Trade, said the following on radio. This was on 702 with Bongani Bingwa this morning. He said, they have seen that the tariffs and trade structures have been disproportionately skewed in our favor. So they would want to have a discussion around that. So what South Africa is admitting is that South Africa has unfair trade practices against the U.S. It's admitted right there. He said it on the radio. I have it in print. He said it right there. So when Cyril Ramaphosa and the South African government deny that they have unfair trade practices directed against the United States, their own minister has admitted as much on radio. He's on the record as admitting that South Africa's unfair trade practices against the United States, and that's why the 31% tariff and 30% tariff was applied. South Africa's a mineral superpower? Nope, not even close. Kwedi Mantashe is clueless. He's clueless. Yeah, China's overplayed its hand. So he said, I should say that we have already started raising with the U.S. the need to revive the trade and investment facilitation agreement that we have with the U.S. so that we're able to normalize issues about trade to respect nations. What I will say about Minister Parks Tal is that very little use for him. However, his interview, at least what's been summarized, I didn't hear it on 702, is very forthright and smart. Cannot even power the lights. That's true, Charles. Can't power the lights. So let me get some of this chat here and see what's going on. Trump. Hey, Billy Skip. What's going on there? Waiting my Tasha. Mineral superpower. What a joke. South Africa's not even important in gold mining. South Africa comes in 10th largest gold miner in the world. For well over a century, South Africa was the world's largest gold producer by a wide margin. Now you're 10th. You're behind the United States, Australia, Ghana. I think you're behind Ghana. Behind Russia. Yeah, behind China. China produces more gold than South Africa. Worse than the VAT increase if our government does not negotiate. Yep. Oh, well, much worse. As a South African, I feel South Africa should be taught a lesson. Government is too arrogant. Well, I think a lot of people don't disagree with you. And maybe they will be taught, but we'll see. Don't get the point of imposing tariffs on U.S. products. The exchange rate works in our favor. Because they can, Charles. See, for 50 years, the United States has pursued this free trade philosophy. And free trade is not a bad idea if it's fair and equitable free trade, but we don't have that. The United States has sacrificed the jobs of its middle class, its mill workers, its welders, its mechanics, its car manufacturers, its textile manufacturers, its weavers, all in the name of free trade, while all of that big sucking sound that Ross Perot mentioned back in 1992 in the election campaign, he said if NAFTA gets approved, there'll be a big sucking sound. All the jobs will leave America, go to Mexico. They'll all go to Mexico. That's what I'm talking about, the big sucking sound. And that's exactly what happened, the big sucking sound. Millions of American jobs left here. People left bereft of high-paying employment in the industrial sector. And what a devastating impact that's had on this country over the past 30 years. So Trump renegotiated NAFTA because it was a bad deal, in his view, and it came up with the U.S., Mexico, Canada free trade agreement. And now he wants to abrogate that because he thinks it's not a good enough deal. So, yep. Will your interview with Reuters be posted online? I imagine it would be, Yaku. Yep, so we'll see how it goes. The gentleman seems straightforward, so we'll see. By the way, for those who pay attention to the Substack, I went to bed about 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock this morning again, and I finished my taxes. They're done and dusted, filed, already confirmed, accepted by the federal government. Got to wait for the state to accept it. Done electronically last night. So I also updated the Substack page. So there's, I think, 23 videos on there now, something like that. So every video, most of them have a little description. They have the title, the video link, a description, and the date that I posted it, because it was inconsistent. Now it's all the same format. Plus I put a description at the top explaining what the videos were all about.
The government is saying, okay, we're going
Oh my God, this guy's loud. Our government's trying to get slapped so they can age old-fashioned shout about. Yeah, well, that's right, Philip Ice, I think you're right. Yeah, Alma wants the official program. Well, that's what I was asked about. He said, what's the deal? Do you know about it? I said, no, we don't know anything. Massive change is required. Yeah, it is. Yeah, well, Leon, as I said, the ANC is playing checkers with Barney Fife, while Donald Trump was playing four-dimensional chess with Jean-Luc Picard. That's what's going on. Okay, so let me get back down here now. They will not even be grateful as they do not understand the concept of gratitude. No, I think you're right about that. South Africa was the regional great power in Africa. Well, they were, Hakan. Not anymore. That's right, Leon. Jan van Riebeck had a stronger fleet in 1652 than the South African Navy currently has. Correct. Just now, line, just slip slide it into the farm. Wind down. Oh, winding down. Okay. There's a lot of gold too. Oh, Canada. I didn't mention Canada. China's interfering with our elections. Mr. Big, you're in Canada. Wow. Okay. Well, lots of people interfere with your elections. And the conservatives were going to run away with this thing, but it doesn't look that way now. It's unfortunate. Okay. Number one producing idiots. Hey. Yeah, so there you go. Thank you, John Jarvis. Thank you. And that's what this summary says, but I didn't get to listen to it. So, so my analysis was correct based on the limited information I had, John, based on what you said. He was surprisingly honest. That's good. That's a good sign. But for every honest comment from either Cyril or from, this case, Parkstown, we have tomfoolery and asshattery from Gwede Mantashe, from Sikalela, from the NEC, from Paul Mashatile, all acting the fool. So, one step forward, two steps back with the South African government. There's just no concept of what's going on there. Free trade was free trade. Yeah, exactly. Not for the U.S. We got screwed. And this whole nonsense, fair trade. Oh, it's not fair. The coffee people pay, they don't pay enough. I'm paying $7 for a cup of coffee. I think that's more than fair. Not my fault that the value chain is skewed against them. Several EFF and MK members are urging South Africa's government to establish a strategic bloc with other mineral-rich countries. Good luck with that. You can't even ship stuff to other parts of Africa. How are you going to pull that off? Do you know how long it takes to get a desk shipped from Kenya to South Africa? About 4 months. You get the same desk shipped from China in 7 days, and it costs a fraction of what it costs from Kenya. In 1980, South Africa was the only industrialized first world superpower. No, it wasn't the only one. It was the only one in your hemisphere, Jan. Still today, the only country in the southern hemisphere with a nuclear power station. Yeah, well, that's true. Hey, you got yours done too. Well done, or is that a check for me, Shawnee? Hedge funds bought companies and factories, leveraged their assets, sold them to China, and called the profits. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the whole thing was a scam. No, the corporate titans deserve the blame for this. The leverage buyouts deserve the blame for this. Wall Street deserves the blame for this. Our politicians deserve the blame for this. All done for a fraction of a percentage of profit. They screwed us all over. What the tariff's going to hurt USA citizens most is they have to pay more. The goods, says Henry. No, that's not necessarily true, Henry. Let me explain how that works, okay? So there's really 3 paths here when it comes to tariffs. Number one, if the tariff isn't onerous, so in the case of the ones getting 10% tariff right now, what will frequently happen is a producer will eat the tariff. So if you're selling a car, you'll eat the 10% loss in order to maintain your market share. Because if your goods become too expensive, people won't buy your goods because of high tariffs. They'll buy a domestic product. That's the intent of tariffs, is to outcompete artificially imported goods. So it becomes too expensive. Like right now, cars from South Africa have a 25% premium on them from all around the world. Any car imported to America today has a 25% tariff on it. So it's automatically 25% more expensive than a car produced here, just on that basis alone. So what happens is, if you ship something, say a bottle of wine, right now a bottle of wine from South Africa is going to have a 10% tariff. It comes here 10% more. Well, the producer or the wholesaler might eat that 10% tariff if their margin is high enough in order to maintain the market share until the tariff is rescinded. That's the first option. Second option is if it's a little bit higher, the producer or shipper could absorb half of the tariff or a portion of it and let the consumer eat the other half. So let's say there's a 15% tariff, okay, or 20%. So the producer might eat 10% and still make a profit, and the consumer gets hit with 10% on the other end, so they pay more, but it's not that much more. And then the third option is that the consumer gets hit with the entire margin, the entire tariff, and they have to pay all of it. And what happens there? People stop buying things. They stop buying things. So Trump said he was going to have tariffs. I knew he was going to have tariffs. I needed a new laptop. Mine was 7 years old. It was falling apart. It didn't work for beans. It took 45 minutes to boot up. No embellishment there. And as soon as he got elected, I made my decision to buy my laptop before he got in office, raise the tariffs, and I bought my laptop. And now that laptop is going to cost 125% more. It's all made in China. I bought mine in November. Holden Caulfield said, yes, aren't antibiotics going to be more expensive now? I said, yeah, because we're not making them anymore. We designed them, we developed them. Once the patent is gone off of them, then the Chinese make them, the Indians make them. So I got my script filled, and I got spare antibiotics. I did that before Trump came in office. Some people are prudent. We are buying cheap stuff from China because we're allowed to strike without being fired. Yep. Well, there's a lot of. That's one aspect of it. I want to link to Substack. Does somebody, any of the mods, have a link to my Substack? I can't do that on my mobile phone. Sandra says, thanks for all the hard work. Keeping us updated. It's my pleasure. 7 words to spend with system of the U.S. to keep them out of ANC's hands. Correct. Saw your interview with Athol Troll, who came about being sincere. However, the ANC have gone ahead and hiked the bat. No, that's not what happened, John Tully. What happened was the quirk in South Africa's undemocratic law allows the finance minister to state a VAT increase, and the mere fact that he stated it in the budget speech makes it the law of the land. Now, that's even possible, I don't know, but that's how the law is written. I reported on this before most people did because I read it somewhere. I confirmed it was the case, and now it's being talked about. Helen Zilla's talked about, and others talked about it. So, Action SA got punked. They got punked. They support a budget that gets passed with their support. The tariff berry was already cooked in. The only way the tax hike was already in there. The only way to get rid of the VAT is if Parliament passes a bill rescinding what he said. How do you even have a government like that a minister can raise your taxes unilaterally on his own? That's what he did. So it's already there. Taxes online, yes. Yes, Hakan Eggman. Taxes online. Will ANC members be sanctioned soon? Well, we have no idea. We have a member of Congress who wants to sanction ANC members and members of the government. We don't know what's going to happen. Nobody's heard from CyberX, Joy. We don't even know if CyberX is real. Clueless ANC government ministers just don't care about anything except themselves. Well, you're right about that, Mark Dahl. 512 people here, 321 likes. Can I get some more likes in there, folks? It doesn't cost you anything but your time. Moment of your time. Perfect time for a president to make an appointment with President Trump. Yeah, that's not going to happen, though, Rita. Should happen, but won't. Regional power in the United States, maybe, but not since '94, yes. Yeah, put the Telegram link in. I assume you want it for the refugee group. Put that in there. Do you think President Trump could spare a few troops or drones to be available for that? No, I don't think he will. But thank you for asking. Peter Kleinhan says, thanks for all the hard work and patience you put in for our folk. You're welcome. It's my pleasure. Happy to help. Shane Hall, still confused as to why some wingers support whites are saying we don't want to accept. They definitely don't speak. No, they don't speak for anyone. They speak for themselves. USA is giving countries a breather to negotiate. Exactly. So that's the thing. So yesterday, one of the people, one of the generals, been outside and read his phone outside the building. Came back in from the break, and I saw him walk by, and he said, "Yeah, Trump just put a pause on the tariffs." I'm like, "Whoa!" So I went and researched it, and I went and did a video analyzing and said, "Hey, Trump has paused the tariffs for 90 days." And basically, I said that was to give people a chance to come to the table and negotiate a deal on a bilateral basis. So I posted that video, and the comments coming from South Africans were comical. But they basically said Trump is a punk, and not all, but many, especially black supremacists and white racists, who came on at my channel and put comments that said, well, Trump backed down, and he stood tall, then he, like a coward, he ran away and lowered, he didn't stand up. That's not what happened, folks. That's not what happened. My analysis is correct, and I stick to it. Trump is using tariffs as negotiating tool. And that doesn't mean that tariffs will go away. They can go away, but only if America gets what it wants. Anyway, so. Too much of a yellow belly to go to Trump. I think you're right about that. Well, yeah, Fabian, women need 3 jets. Hey, DeBram, how's it going, man? Page from South Africa, I'm glad I heard about this page. Well, I'm glad, it's funny, I'm glad you found the page. Good to see that there. All right, let me get through some more comments here. I'm going to get back to the news, maybe. Yeah, please hit the like button. It helps. The ANC is busy sinking the ship. They are. Miguel, Fundamentalist, did you hear Lindsey Graham said Iran is close to assembling 6 nukes? Yeah, no. I've told you. I didn't give you the number, but I told you they're very close to assembling nuclear weapons. Yep. Yeah, sure. Well, the ANC is not going to win next time. They didn't win this time. Pay more for goods. You heard of Biden? Stuff got real expensive real quick with that doofus. Africans want to shift trade to other countries, but who in those countries are going to buy the products? They don't have any products to sell. They just have commodities. $7 for coffee. This probably will never drink coffee. I don't drink coffee now. Just telling you this what coffee costs. Switch back. The show doesn't. Channel member. What? This show doesn't. Mr. Big, what are you talking about? I'll switch back. This show doesn't. I'm a channel member. Be right back. What? What the hell's that all about? Extremely lenient with the withdrawal of proposed tariffs. Exactly. Let's see how our government responds. They're not going to respond. Well, Trump is very lenient with AGOA. Again, folks, South Africa is not eligible for the African Growth and Opportunity Act. South Africa has been ineligible for the African Growth and Opportunity Act since 2018, when the Expropriation Without Compensation Act was introduced in Parliament. Now, it just took effect. It's now law, and that clearly, unambiguously, means you're not eligible for the African Growth and Opportunity Act, because you must respect private property rights and enshrine them in order to be eligible. And that's not protecting private property rights when you abrogate them with nil compensation. So Trump has not removed South Africa from AGOA. He should have. But it's a fait accompli now, because the tariffs override that anyway. First, the hypocrites cry the stock markets are crashing. Now they accuse the White House of insider trading. Exactly. Exactly. Nollywood industry is set to surge. Well, China's Nollywood industry has been growing, but not China, but Nigeria's Nollywood industry has been growing. But the Nollywood productions out of Nigeria are amateur. I watch Nollywood. Bollywood is much better. So Bollywood probably has a better chance of growing than, although the Chinese won't invest there. USA did not even impose the same tariffs on the country. Yeah, exactly. It was half or less. Can you imagine when this becomes reciprocal? Exactly. And people just lying. So that was going to crash completely. That's probably true. Okay. Why doesn't Trump administration give VA the money to distribute with weekly payments reports? What are you talking about? What money, Kevin? What money are you talking about? It's gossip time. So ANC passed a resolution which says municipality workers can now also be senior ANC political party members. Really? I didn't see that. That's interesting. At an online meeting with an American engineering expert in USA, he said that the tariffs will hurt the little guy who lost his job. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So people who are rich and connected, they really don't care about the average person. That's the bottom line. It doesn't matter which country you're in. There are exceptions. Davi Kalk, welcome to you. Fair trade is 10% or any percent in both ways. Not 60% this way, but 30% that way. This is gracious towards the world. Don't bite the hand that feeds you. Well, they do, Marcel. And then they scream that we're wrong. This makes sense why the USA have moved their stealth bombers to Garcia in the Indian Ocean. No comment. No comment. By the looks of things, ANC full action SA. Yep. Yeah, the VAT's going up because the Minister of Finance said it's going up. That's why. What kind of democracy is that? Well, so I'm going to say that next Tuesday is Pink Tuesday. Everybody has to wear pink or you'll be arrested and incarcerated for 5 years. Ooh, because I'm a minister, that's the law? Give me a break. Anyone who's dumb enough to use this time to negotiate will not survive as a country. Zapiro has long since lost the plot. Two different things. I didn't see what's going on with Zapiro. Yeah, Zapiro has lost his mind a long time ago. I'll let you know, YouTube just told me you have been my longest standing channel member. Are you serious? Are you serious, Liam? Wow, I didn't know that. That's where my money's been going. You're very welcome, Liam. I thought you disappeared, man. Your channel was bigger than mine for such a long time. I thought you disappeared. Good to see you're still here. Finance minister should not have that. Well, of course not, Charles. I mean, what kind of legal system is that? Then a member of the cabinet can just say, "This is the tax. I'm raising it." What if they said it had been 10%? What if the VAT went from 15 to 25%? Can you imagine that? World needs an Anglo-American World Trade Union that takes advantage of the former Commonwealth. Interesting. Yeah, there are some trolls. And the moderators are dealing with South African tariffs on U.S. industries. Poultry at 62% is among the highest, followed by apparel. What is apparel? Clothing. Apparel is clothing. Yeah, so South Africa puts a tariff of 40% on our apparel. What is their tariff on Chinese apparel? I bet you it's not 40%. They're free to express their idiot opinions as long as they don't attack others. Exactly. Or express, racism or bigotry. There's a hole in my screen from all the likings. Got a notification while online. Was waiting to see if you go live. Otherwise, I don't get notifications. All right, Gene, I'm glad you got this one, though. Yeah. How long does it take to get your green card as a refugee? Asking because I want to join the Army. You don't need a green card to join the Army, Xander. You don't need a green card. You can join the Army from abroad as long as you meet the qualifications and standards. But it's not easy to join it from abroad. So we have thousands of foreign nationals in our military. Don't need a green card to join the military. But to get your green card, you're required to apply for a green card within the first 12 months after arrival. So it doesn't take long at all. Unlike everyone else. Hey, Ronaldo, what's going on, man? It's Thursday. Are you broadcasting today, Ronaldo? Okay. 30% KFC politicians. You don't need a green card to join the Army, correct. And amazing Texas, or Amazon, Texas, 70 grand. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. Power problem again. I have to go save my battery. All right, take care, Al Marie. Sorry to hear that. Gary Wild is here. Pat Newman, hit the like button. So, Andre Mare, thank you for your membership. Appreciate you joining the team. Garrett's here. Okay. Do you not think Trump did that because of Social Security? Did what because of Social Security? Davy says thank you. You're welcome. Or is it Danny? Danny, you're welcome. First, a businessman who loves to negotiate deals. Yep. What the hell is that? Someone's playing some annoying music over here. Appreciate giving us all the correct info and truthful info. Thanks. You're welcome. I appreciate your viewership. I appreciate the subscriptions and letting people know about the channel and help it grow. I'm very grateful for that. And those who can super chat, that's pretty awesome. Thank you for that. It's going to increase the prices on IDs and passports. That sucks. He said that's what he would do for non-retaliation tariffs and consequently show the world via China the results of retaliation. Yep. We see you as our friend, our news informant, and good diplomat. Well, thank you for that, Miranda. Very kind of you to say. Like the man video he sit by Reuters. Okay, thank you for that. Okay. Shows only one watching and I started 38 seconds ago. Well, it's 537 on my end, so I'm not sure what's going on. Getting notifications for all now. I think YouTube is, yeah, they are. Also, that's how they do it. Hydra Shudderfeld with 350 Rand super chat. Thank you for keeping us in the loop. One video at a time. Much appreciated. Can't always check the news because of work, so between you and Ron, I keep up to date with what's happening. Thank you for the super chat. Heinisch, appreciate it. So worship in Cape Town. People claim it was USA. Could have been. I don't know. I don't know. Okay. Hey, Erica. Amazing me that we get better news about South Africa from an American, well-done South African media. Hey, Sarita. Just wanted to share that I feel blessed. Oxtail Potki. Oh, beer in the kernel. Okay. Well, I'll pass on the oxtail. Not my cup of tea. Communists don't believe in property rights. You're correct about that. Guys, please think before you hit send on messages. Don't let your emotions get you into trouble. Yeah, smart move. Appreciate your views. I really enjoy watching the strategy of Donald Trump unfolding. I look at the picture holistically and see a much bigger picture than simple 4D chess. Well, yeah, but I'm trying to make the comparison that Trump is on a different playing field, different plane of existence than these people. Told you should have stayed or bought more stock, but the next round in 90 days, something I cannot calculate. I didn't sell any stock. I said I was buying. It's not very smart of Trump to tweet that out just before he paused tariffs. He literally gave lunatics and left. I mean, Trump what? What Napoleon Dynamite? What did Trump tweet that wasn't smart? So I'd be a good candidate, South African Trump. He wouldn't have my vote, says Fabian. Okay. Catch up. What are you talking about, PK? What rebounds? Hey, Tony. Yeah, South Africa and China nuclear agreement. I've got that here. I was going to read it with you guys. Trying to catch up on the chat now. I'm just skipping a whole bunch. We're way behind here. Wow. Wow, I'm going to go to the end. Okay. We have friends in Kansas City, Missouri. Hope you settle there. Is that a reasonably conservative state? Yeah, Missouri's a conservative state, yeah. Yeah. Chat lagged. Yeah, well, mine was lagged too. I was way behind. All right, so here's an interesting story here. Carol has the highest live stream views, likes ratio I've seen. Most people are lucky to get 50%. No, most people are likely, light rating, most people are likely to get 2 to 5% likes for the views. The big names, 2 to 5%. We habitually do better on the channel, always have done better. All right, so yeah, hit the like button, folks. 480 right now, 525 currently watching. So I hate them, but I love South Africa more, says Gate McKenzie about the Democratic Alliance. Gate McKenzie apparently hates the VA. Patriotic leader Gate McKenzie says that while he hates the Democratic Alliance, he would not want the party to be kicked out of the Government National Union. Oh, isn't that generous? Sports, Arts, and Culture ministers said it was very important that the GNU be kept intact, adding that this was the hope of the people of South Africa. How is it the hope of people of South Africa? And why? He doesn't say. Speaking to News 24 on the sidelines of an event in Eastern Cape to commemorate 32 years since South African Communist Party leader Chris Hani was murdered, McKenzie said he would also like Mmusi Maimane, Build One South Africa, and Herman Mashaba's Action SA to be part of the GNU. Why? Why? Why would you want to add more people to an already dysfunctional group of 10? You want to add Mmusi Maimane and Herman Mashaba's Action SA to the Government National Union? To what end? To what end? It doesn't make any sense. So he said, I want my money and Mashaba to come inside the GNU, but nobody must chase the DA out. According to McKenzie, the DA made a big mistake by not voting in the favor of the budget. He said they've acted very anti-GNU. Well, the GNU is just a coalition agreement. It's not the people of South Africa. It's not anyone's responsibility but political parties. Anti-GNU. So what? It's a coalition agreement. The Democratic Alliance has a responsibility to respond to the country as a whole and to their voters in particular. He said, but I personally do not think that it warrants their removal from the GNU. The DA must not be removed. I don't even like the DA. I hate them because they have made me to hate them, but I love the South more. How exactly has the DA made you to hate them? He says the DA is very problematic, but the problems we're facing as a country would be less if they remain inside. So basically saying you hate them and they're a problem, but things will be better if they're inside the government. Doesn't make any sense. He said the GNU is necessary. The people of South Africa wanted the GNU. Otherwise, they would have voted for McKenzie alone or for President Cyril Ramaphosa. So Kate McKenzie is trying to convince us that if there was no government national unity, voters would have voted for him. Well, the voters don't get any say in it. Only members of parliament select the president of South Africa, so you're never going to be the guy. Yeah, he is a loose cannon, Garrett. He also added that destabilization of the GNU would be disastrous for South Africa, but he hates it. We cannot afford to break the GNU. We have bigger problems in the country, including President Trump, who's on top of us. We need to sort out the issues in America. Well, Trump's not on top of you. Trump's not done anything to you. Yeah, they won't bow the knee, exactly. So, what did I miss here? Cape Independence, says Charmaine. Okay. Not action the same. Muslim betrayed South Africa. Yep. Okay. Guess you can't expect much from the numbers. Yeah, there you go. 32. All right, so parties in the GNU undertake a secret trip to Israel, according to the IOL. The Democratic Alliance, the Patriotic Alliance, members of parliament embarked on a visit to Israel, reportedly involving meetings with Israeli authorities. The trip came to light Wednesday when MPs described it as a fact-finding mission. The trip was brought to public attention following a statement by who else but the good-for-nothing party, MP Brett Barron, who questioned its purpose. Barron alleged that DA MPs Nicholas Myberg and Bridget Masongo were among other participants. A now deleted 11-minute Facebook video recorded in Israel, Patriotic Alliance member Parliament Ashley Sauls stated that he and his delegation already met with the governor and were scheduled to meet with the president. Sauls was traveling alongside fellow PA MP Millicent Matoba. In a statement, Brett Herron raised questions about the business details, including who funded it, whom the delegation met, its political objectives, and whether the South African government or parliament were informed, and the date of return. These details remain unclear due to a concerted effort to avoid publicity. Well, the trip follows the National Assembly's adoption of a motion in November urging the government to suspend all diplomatic relations with Israel until a ceasefire is reached. But what business is it of Brett Herron that they are there? None of his business. In the pioneer movement, I'm sure the aiming for Western Cape independence. No, I don't think they are aiming for Western Cape independence, unless something's changed. So it says the senior leaders of the Patriotic Alliance also had a trip to Israel in 2023 and were equally open and proud of it. The president of the PA, Kate McKenzie, intends to take his children there on holiday. The Patriotic Alliance stated that it joined the government national unity with its policies, political positions already well established, so they're doing nothing wrong. While the Democratic Alliance spokesperson, Billy Okap, said the trip was arranged and attended by individuals in their private capacity and not through the party. I don't believe that for a second. I don't believe it for a second. All right, so that's about Kate McKenzie. He hates the DA, but he loves South Africa. All right, now on to some other news outside South Africa. The U.S. stock market, fresh off its third best day in modern history, is sinking back into reality today. Although President Trump paused most of the reciprocal tariffs and his other massive import taxes have already inflicted significant damage, and the economy will easily recover from the fallout. This is supposed to be news. That's op-ed. The Dow, after rising 3,000 points Wednesday, fell more than 900 points this morning. Traders were elated that Trump temporarily rescinded the so-called reciprocal tariffs, which weren't really reciprocal for 90 days. Those tariffs placed heavy levies between 11 and 50% on dozens of countries. El Salvador says it shares intelligence with the United States about gang members wanted by the Central American nation and provides complete records on them before formally requesting their deportation. El Salvador says we raise our hands and say, look, this guy, Country Security and Justice Minister Gustavo Villatoro, said in an exclusive interview with CNN. Asked if that meant the country specify which individual we wanted deported, he said, yes, it's not random. His comments come after the Trump administration deported more than 270 men to El Salvador, accusing them of being members of Venezuelan Tren de Agua or Salvadorians tied to MS-13. "18 days of Canadian election," okay. So, Russian-American woman Ksenia Karelina, serving a 12-year prison sentence for treason in Russia, was released as part of a prisoner exchange and saw her swap for an accused smuggler held in the U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said on X on early Thursday that the amateur ballet dancer who worked as a receptionist and they graduated from an esthetician school had been released and was on her way to the United States. American Ksenia Karelina is on a plane back to the United States. She was wrongfully detained by Russia for over a year, and President Trump secured her release. She was exchanged for Arthur Petrov, a dual Russian-German citizen who was being held in the U.S. in charge of criminal offenses related to export control violations, smuggling, wire fraud, money laundering, Russian state news agencies reported. So, all right, what else we got here? No, nobody said anything from CyberX. That's why I wonder if the guy was even real. So, all right. Oh, excuse me. It's been a long week here, folks. A long week. 497. Some people left. Where'd they go? Where'd they go? We're not talking about the refugee stuff. You're not to leave yet. 3 American citizens have been transferred to the United States after their death sentence over a full deadly coup were commuted to life imprisonment last week by Congolese authorities in the wake of talks with U.S. government officials. The American citizens Marcel Malanga, Tyler Thompson Jr., and Benjamin Ruben Zalman Poulin among 37 people sentenced to death by a military court in the DRC in September for participating in the failed coup led by Malanga's father, Christian. At least 6 people, including Christian Malanga, an opposition politician, were killed in a gun battle with presidential guards as the Putschis sought to overthrow the government last May. They'll serve their life sentences in the United States, presidential spokesperson Tina Salame told CNN, adding the 3 Americans were flown to the U.S. Tuesday. Well, I wonder if they'll serve life sentences here. She earlier said that the clemency decision was filed with the public prosecutor and recommended by the justice minister. Huh. DOC president commutes death sentences for 3 Americans. Yep. The repatriation of Americans to the U.S. was part of a dynamic effort to strengthen judicial diplomacy and international cooperation in matters of justice and human rights between the two countries. Repatriation appears to soften the ground for mooted minerals for security partnership between the U.S. and the DRC. More likes and viewers at the moment. Yep, that's cool. Can't imagine going live like this in KFC in South Africa. You won't be able to hear anything. Well, it's not ideal here. I have to focus really hard just to keep focus on this. Du hast ein Tumor. What are you talking about there, Garrett Gillich? 2 tanks going towards Joburg on my way home. They're probably not brand new. They're probably just painted. There's going to be tanks in South Africa. Simon Christoph, 140 Rand Super Chat. Thank you. Appreciate that. 510, we're back up. 549 likes. Keep it going, folks. Keep it going. Oh, man. Oof. So President Trump is trying to stop the production of pennies. He announced he told the Treasury Department to put the brakes on making new pennies, pointing out how expensive it's gotten to keep making the coin. With inflation on the rise, pennies have become irrelevant as currency. We've been making pennies that cost over 2 cents each. How does this make any sense, says Trump. I've told my Treasury Secretary to cut it out and stop minting them. Looks like the penny might not just be dropping, it's getting dropped altogether. U.S. Mint took an $85.3 million hit in fiscal 2024 thanks to churning out 3.2 billion pennies. Each of those little coins rang up the production cost of almost 3.7 cents, up from 3.1 cents a year before. It's a lot of copper for a coin that barely buys a gumball. And it's not just a penny, bleeding cash. Making a nickel costs close to 14 cents each, which is quite expensive for a 5-cent favor. As for Trump's ability to pull the plug on the penny, well, you can't do that. Congress calls the shots when it comes to coin design, size, and what metals it go into. So unless lawmakers jump on board, the penny might just keep hanging on by a thin, expensive thread. Yep. That's what's going to happen. China's man. What's that? Business closures. No orders. Yep. Well, China's in trouble. Their decision is the wrong-headed one. Was pulled apart at Cape Town on late afternoon. So, okay, so there was a U.S. ship there. Okay, what will happen if Cape Independence do happen? All kinds of things will happen. All kinds of things will happen. So the European Union approves new retaliatory tariffs on the United States. All member countries of the European Union except Hungary voted Wednesday in favor of proposals that would impose tariffs on specific products from the United States sold in Europe. The vote came just hours before Trump said on social media that he would pause tariffs in most countries. Trump says he'll pause tariffs for 90 days, but not for China. Proposals were first published on Monday by the European Commission, the EU's executive branch. All right, so there you go. That's the news. Okay, many Chinese franchise dealers opening. Okay. Oil rig in Central Asia on a rotational basis. Can they keep their job if they apply? Janine Jordan, are you asking me if a South African works in Central Asia, in like Tajikistan, can they come to America as refugees? Is that what you're asking? And then go to Tajikistan? In theory, sure, but I'm not sure it's going to work in practice. You are finishing today at the college. No, I'm not finishing today at the college. I've still got another day to do here. So. You heard incorrectly. You're welcome, Zoma. If they have residency elsewhere, that's going to be a problem. So that's how that works. You can't have residency in two places. So, yep. You already have a safe haven. You can't give you a safe haven. So, thanks everybody so far for the super chats that come in. For those who become subscribers, those who watch the content, I really do appreciate it. Anyway, if anybody here, it's 510 people right now, if you have been interviewed, that's one of the preliminary interviews by the American Embassy for potential refugee resettlement states, and you would like to share your story of your personal experience with a media outlet, Reuters contacted me. I was interviewed earlier about the program, or not lack of a program, and they would like to talk to people just like the New York Times did. So I'm making that offer. Just reach out to me via WhatsApp or send me an email, and if you want, then I will get you the contact information for one of their staffers, their journalists in South Africa that you can call and share your story with, if you want to do it. I'm not encouraging anyone to do it. I'm not discouraging you to do it. I'm just making it available to you because I want to talk to people. So immigration is the better option then. To who, Janine? What are you talking about? Immigration is a better option to who? Arno got a link to a PDF handbook, 164 pages. Go to page 24 and then work. I have no idea what does that mean. Go to page 24 and then work. I don't know what that means. Mr. Candy wants me to guesstimate when it's going to work, when it's going to happen. Here's the email from Hendo. The G-Man says, "Will do, okay." About 30 small businesses who had a visit from a local fire and safety department. Most of the shops were targeted non-black shops. Of course, there you go. Yeah, well, she supposedly married a brother and defrauded the immigration system as a refugee, so yeah. Yeah, folks, if you want to immigrate to America, that's fine. If you want to wait for the visa diversity lottery, that's fine. If you want to take advantage of the refugee program, you qualify for it, that's probably a smart option because it costs nothing. It's free, just saying. And you can work immediately. Thank you, Hendrik Smith. Yeah, my info is sound reliable and my predictions are very accurate. Refugee handbook sent by Amerikaners. I don't have that handbook, so I don't know anything about it. Go back to work. Oh, I don't know how accurate the info is. I haven't got it, Arno. No, your shotgun. You don't have access to your yard, so I won't try refugee for the peace of mind, says Dylan. No, I've not been to Hogsback. And Geo gave 35 rand. Set aside your circumstance. Would you go to the U.S. in our shoes? Well, I can't say because your circumstances are all different, Geo. If I was certain South Africans, absolutely. If I was other South Africans, I wouldn't. Just depends on who you are and what your circumstances are. Out of Africa. Yeah, book today. I haven't gotten a chance to read it. Well, I don't have it. You can email it to me. That's fine, or Sam can send it to me. So. Yeah, no, I think I'm getting a little more respect by the media. Truth will always set you free. Well, the respect's coming from Western media. It's not coming from South African media. Blackcurrant thinks the refugee program is awesome. There are many people yelling, I'm not a damn refugee, I'm proudly a refugee. Yeah, there you go, Blackcurrant. How were the people who were interviewed notified? Email. Exactly. The whole world's trying to get here, Tony. Exactly. Fucked off out of Africa 2025. What are the living conditions for disabled refugees? Well, Scary Mel Bell, I don't understand your question. Living conditions for refugees? What do you mean? Disabled refugees. What do you mean? You live in a house. You live in an apartment. I don't. What do you mean living conditions? What are you expecting? I don't understand the question. Yeah, that's a good point that Ella said. Trump's already got more action going on than anything the ANC's done for anybody. Oh, Arctic sent it to my WhatsApp. Thank you, Arctic. So everybody doesn't need to send it to me. Yes, PK, I need some sleep, but that isn't how it works. 30 small businesses who had a visit. Yeah, okay, I already saw that. Okay. All right, now I'm caught up with the chat. Yep. Yeah, I do need some rest. I need some sleep. Last night I had a hard time doing my radio show. If they interview my SABC or ENCA, put so many things straight. Yeah, but they don't want the truth. They don't want the truth. That's why they reached out to me. So what they do is they lie about me. Newsroom Africa's lied about me. They've slandered me. The Data Maverick has libeled me. Yep. And others have too. Oh, Gate, okay. You're welcome, Dylan. Apparently, black languages do not have a word for maintenance. I don't know about that. Going to live in FEMA tents, work in the cotton fields. Yeah, no, the China, now you know where the NC gets their playbook from. You see China playing the victim. China imposed an 80%. China already had excessive tariffs, artificial barriers, and currency manipulation on the United States, and the United States slapped a tariff on them because of that. And then they slapped a tariff on the United States. The United States raised it, and they slapped another tariff. And I'll tell you something.
Ain't too much left.
It's just, yeah, live where you, it's a free country, you live where you want to, but you go where they send you initially. Then you can live where you want to. Oh, Colonel said that. Who is Zach Makwasa? Who the hell is Zach Makwasa? Never heard of him. Called me a dumbass? See the manners in these people? Zach, what the hell's his name? Zach McQuaison. Never heard of this guy. Zach. M-W-E-K Kwasa. Zach Kwasa. Never heard of him. What's he do? Remove property rights, Mugabe sent in lavish palaces while everyone else suffered. Yep. Please mobilize all the podcasters that share the truth like you. You can be a brigade podcast commander. Herself, one of your company commanders. Kevin, watch this space. Things are afoot. Things are afoot. Might just get a boost in views once you come back. Come back from what? Come back from what? Yellow Breaches Creek reminds me of Hogsback. Okay, thank you, Fabian. Secure the city, they send you, but you still get to choose which house or flat. Exactly. Black dude was interviewing a Nigerian, Ghanaian, Senegalese, and they admitted that no word in vocabulary. With a French and English channel, he's a former glory kickboxer. So why is he talking about me, Pablo Charlie? Anywhere in the USA, it says Lindy. Yeah, why is he talking about me? My health is fine. I'm just tired. Congolese boxer? Yeah, I never heard of her. I'm enjoying my Carling White Label. I didn't know they had Carling White Label. I'll come after taking a rest. You know, I'm not taking a rest. Discuss pre- and post-colonization of countries now infrastructure disappeared and was not mentioned. Oh, okay. Well, the bill has to be introduced, it has to go to committee, so I have no idea if and when that's going to happen. American law says if you have family in the U.S., they are citizens of the country. You need to get them to sponsor you, asking for security. What? American law says if you have family in the U.S. that are citizens of the country, you need to get them to sponsor you. No, it doesn't work like that. What are you talking about? There's no such law. Yeah, people are talking about me everywhere, Amazon. Oh, he called my comments on the refugee program nonsense. Yeah, well, okay. Yeah, so. Morosh Snayman gave a 70 rand super chat. Thank you for that. Let's see, there's an honor to mix with that right winger, the ANC, and the narrative. It's tiresome, yeah. Skip the night broadcast so you can get to bed early. No, Loretta, that's fine. You don't usually see me this tired because I'm able to take a nap, but I got so much going on right now that I can't take a nap and catch up. So, yeah, that was the problem last night. I got back from consulting and the weather was still good. It was cold, but it was good. I had to plant my raspberry bush, so I had to clean out all the dead stems and cut them out and move the soil around and repot and fix the concrete barriers and put it back up and do some weeding in there. Took care of all that. That took some time yesterday and got it all in place. And today it's raining, it's miserable, but now the raspberry bushes will get the rain that they need. So yeah, I had to do that yesterday, and then I went straight from that to the broadcast. So, yep. Okay, Stephen Norkia, see you later. Stephen Norkia. No, we don't have a time frame for it. It's up to the State Department. They're taking their time. News and what you do cannot carry on if you put your health. My health is fine, people. Stop going on about my health. Not know the importance of the info you give us. God, this guy is so freaking loud. Every time he comes in here, he just is really freaking loud. You do not know how important the info you give out is. All that you know. It's called educate. Yeah, no, I know. Thank you. Started learning a new song today that I'm going to use in the future. Star Spangled Banner. Okay. You made it. Hello, Chris. Another day close to you shaving that beard. 100,000 subs. 30 rand to the dollar might come before the 100,000 subs. That's for sure. Let them talk, just brings you more views. Yep. Openly say that if you have an insider info on the program, but you can at least say it looks positive versus very neutral. Jason, there's nothing I can say about it, okay? There's nothing I can say. I'm not holding anything back. Cut the grass so you can put up your tents. No. I cannot fix broken leaky pipes or roofs or take stairs over crowd noise or broken down. This will not be easy. Well, Scary Mel Bell, we have handicap-friendly apartments and houses for people. And the Americans with Disabilities Act requires us all government buildings have that sort of thing. And many businesses have that, restaurants, so, you know. Whose birthday? Okay. What did Jason say? It's Jason.
We're gonna put all the vegetables on it.
Boy, my thing.
She would come down and be picky, but we're gonna give it all to her.
What about your homelessness, high rent, national disasters? What the hell are you talking about, Marco Britz? What homelessness? High rent. And national disaster. Our national disaster is Joe Biden. He's gone. High rent. Well, then don't live in such a luxurious place. Find a place you can afford. Homelessness. Get a freaking job. Quit being lazy. There you go. There's your answers, Marco Britz. What else would you like to know? It's a silly open-ended question there. I mean, you asked like three massive things. Give me an example here. You know, you're just making shit up there. Sure, he knows. I know my limits. That's right, Arno. Yep. No, I do appreciate how you guys care, but it gets to be much people go on. Do you need private chefs? As Mr. says, does the U.S. offer temporary travel documents if you can't afford to get a passport? Arno, I do not know the answer to that. My supposition is that might be the case, but having a temporary travel document, will South African immigration accept that? So I don't know. But yes, traditionally, I mean, as I've said before, over and over and over and over again, most people who qualify for refugee resettlement are people who are actually legitimately resettled in a temporary location abroad, having fled from a conflict with the United Nations High Commission for Refugees. And many of them don't even have documents because their homes were burned, they were murdered, they fled, and so they don't have that information. So yes, those people get issued travel documents, but I don't know if that'll work in South Africa's case. Anthony Mayer, don't worry what people say about you, sir. Just keep on keeping on. We appreciate it. Okay, thank you. With the new proposed Firearms Control Act, I guess the only legal weapon Southern Security could use is a toothpick or paper clip. Well, a car. You can run over people with a car. They do that. Is South African ambassador expelled from USA includes clips of you. Stealing my content, is he? Most black Americans know nothing about South Africa, so I don't know what you're talking about there. Quitting. Happy birthday to your cousin, Dylan. Well, I feel positive about it, though all the gossip, Skinner, we could love to contribute. Well, I mean, people need to quit gossiping and Skinner and actually pay attention to facts. You know, that's why whoever this Congolese, you know, gay pole dance, whatever the guy is, I don't know, whatever he said he is, making comments about me, about my refugee. I'll stand by everything I've said in the refugee program. And natural disasters naturally prepare for them. And rent is dependent on who you are and what you stand for and where you live. Yeah, South Africa is much better, the U.S. is much better equipped to handle people who are disabled than South Africa. Valdam at 114, well, it's down. Oh, no, it's up. It was 107, now it's 114. Bloomington at 115. Yep. Black currant, yeah, 50% is outrageous. Basically, for planning factor, you shouldn't pay more than 35% of your income, your pre-tax income, for rent or for a mortgage. Desiree Finley, both gave 70 rand. Thank you for that, Desiree. Thank you so much. Definitely new bill in the cards. Equal Access to Land Act. The bill proposed 80% land should be black owned. Would love to hear. Yeah, I need to take a look into that. So let me recommend that because people mentioned that previously. I just smashed my shin. That hurt like hell. Oof, there's a metal bar under the table. I didn't know that. So it's the Equal Access to Land. But it's just a silly thing. First off, people should only have land if they can afford it and pay the taxes on it. Otherwise, they shouldn't have land. All right? And people giving land just because their skin color, they can't afford to take care of it. That's ridiculous. Bribe rookies. Trump signed the refugee on my birthday. Seems he has been. Okay, well, there you go, Heinrich. You didn't even realize that. 7th February. Once he smashed 100,000, he will become a bull supporter. No, I didn't say that. That's fake news. I'm not a bull supporter. Freedom Papers, bags packed and waiting. There you go, Roland Meyer. That's good. Ronald Meyer. Will they relocate to towns with population less than 3,000? I don't know the answer to that, Henry. Possibly. But it's got to be a place for resources. So if it's a town with 3,000, it's probably got to be close to major metropolitan. Rybudikis. Rybudikis. Neoclassical Neanderthal gave 21 Rand. Thank you for that. Am I missing birthdays? I don't know, Sai. Thank you, Zach, for being here. Just my thought. The ANC knows it's on its last legs, so they're messing up the country and stealing it before they're out. Could be, Martin. It's a refugee from the Congo. I had learned 2 new languages. My home language is French. Being a refugee was a challenge and interesting. And she did it as a kid. How is this so steep? God bless you. It got freezing here all of a sudden. Philadelphia. I have no idea. Geo 1984 says, would you want to live in South Africa? You indicated you wouldn't mind being in South Africa. Yeah, well, if I was the ambassador to South Africa, heck yeah, I'd do that. Do that in a heartbeat. I'd live in Pretoria, in Hatfield or Linwood or somewhere like that. Absolutely. God bless it. It got really, really cold in here. It's getting chills now. Yeah, other than that, there are some places I'd like to live in South Africa, but there's some real challenges about living in South Africa. No doubt about that. Now demanding that all new contracts, ethnicity be recorded there. It's crazy. Corey doesn't like that. I'm a Stormers fan. Land, we should be getting access to Starlink. Yeah, that's true. 100,000 subs, the beard goes, or I send in your EFF membership. The beard is not going at 100,000. It's going to be smartly trimmed. That's what the poll came up with. I'm sticking to that. 100,000 subs campaign. Spread the word. Let's get the Colonel 100,000. Well, let's see if you can do it. You could start internet cafes. In South Africa? Some black market parts to build your own refugee planes. No, I'm not going to be a blue bull, Charles. Hey, Cappy, how's it going? Fry stuff. Why are 90-day pass for a racist nation that murders white people and steals their land? I don't understand that question, Catherine. Why are 90-day pass? What is that? That's not a sentence, man. What are you trying to say? Well, farming is no joke. I was a farmer. It's not easy. The Stormers are not the worst team. How many South African teams have won the United Rugby Championship? 1. And who is that? Stormers. End up in a big city, I will end up with an insane husband and son. But as much as I can, okay. It'd be great to be an ambassador. Getting cold, tell the lady to close the fridge, the kitchen. Pilchers fan, okay. 15 people, that's a tiny village, Henry. I get to 25,000, I'll shave my beard. Huh. I'm trying to stay warm here, copy. It got very cold. Yeah, people keep saying this, Wallbear Prepper, that they're taking $10 billion a year of, there's a Tesla going by, $10 billion a year of pension funds, but I have no evidence of that. Always come and show up because this is where our refugees will stay in touch. Well, it's not a refugee channel. I mean, it's the people here before you all. Group photo with all the moderators hidden behind a braai. Okay. Has Brent been confirmed as the ambassador when he's due to arrive? No, he hasn't been. They haven't even had his hearings for Brent Bozell. Nope. So many call center jobs. How does a call center job relate to an internet cafe? No, Charles, I know. Keen means not. No, I know you said I'm not going to be one. I just reiterated and I said, no, I'm not going to be one. I got it. I understood that. Dude, I understood the Afrikaans. There's no huge demand for cricket in the U.S. There is for rugby, though. Yeah, Volvo is closing 6% of the shop in South Africa. That's old news. It's the best team in the finals this weekend. Who, Stellies? Is it Mahdi? Is that the best team? Many cause death among white South Africans is diabetes and heart disease. They must be fleeing from bad diets. Oh, you're so sad, economics grad. But you're entertaining. Leading cause of misery among dumbass black supremacist economics grad is stupid comments on social media. Who committed suicide in Iran? What are you talking about? I got the gist of it, Charles. Network issues, says Pierre. Okay. They spent just 10% of all the waste and corruption money found in mental institutions. Yeah, well. Channel your questions to getting, huh? Please channel your questions to getting to America. What do you? That sentence doesn't even make sense. Please channel your questions. What do you mean by that? The hell are you talking? Covered in swastikas. Oh, okay. Thank you for sharing that. Chris says the other day you had an issue with Max Dupree. Max YouTube channel made a MaxiPad. What is MaxiPad Prague? This is something else. I don't know what this is. MaxiPad Prague. Prague. Another channel I don't know anything about. So what did he say? It was a murder suicide. He shot his wife, yeah. Trying to say focus on the program, but they missed the point. Yeah, they missed the point. Well, you know, I'm sorry. Was this live stream advertised as a refugee conversation? It wasn't. And if you've got a question, ask your question. Don't tell me what to do on my channel. That's my response. Charles, that's obviously not directed to you. Ford moving out of the U.S., that's ridiculous. Ford's not moving out of the U.S. Unrelated to what? What do you think, in your opinion, would happen if EF attacked people in Iran? Well, they'll run away like cowards. So you'll have 400 EFF wusses show up, and you'll have 5 boers show up, and the more one of the EFF guys, and the rest will run away.
No, I didn't even know. No, I didn't even know until she told me that.
Chris Jr. Yeah. Yeah, they won't be able to find him out. I've never been able to grow a proper beard either, mainly because my razor works. I can't even record. I wanted to record a video, but these guys just keep making all this damn noise. I wish I'd go back to work. 683 likes. Smash the like button. This is about the unadulterated world news and catching up with the kernel people. We get a fresh human perspective for free from an independent source. Yeah, exactly. I don't know what this Max Pat product is. You probably won't be able to find it. Yeah, the FF is... Yeah, that's the only time that they feel strong. They're cowards otherwise. Not only did President... Yeah, well, people don't show respect, Dylan. Telling me what to do on my channel. Well, I mind the background noise. It's hard to concentrate. Yes, you need to work harder. Our FG program relies on you working harder for your monies. What? I'm not getting any monies. What are you talking about? All right, Marcel, have a good day. Can't we send the NC back to Robin Island? You can't get them all on Robin Island. Hey, Wild Bear Prepper. Well, I said I'm answering questions if people got them, and so, you know, no one asked a question. They're telling me, what am I supposed to talk about here? Yes, American tax money does pay for the refugee program. That's correct. Well, there are 25% tariffs in South Africa, so that didn't go away. All right, Leanne, have a good one. The weather's miserable here in Pennsylvania. It's cold. It's very wet and rainy. Yeah. Yeah. No, they're like hornets. You piss the boars off, they're like hornets, man. You want to mess around with them. Of course, I love your channel as it is. This is more than just a refugee channel. You know, it's not a refugee channel. It's just a service I provide free of charge because there's so much misinformation going on. That's what I told the guy from Reuters. He said, so how, because you didn't know, you didn't understand what it was. You just saw my video. And I said, I'm not with the U.S. government. I'm just giving you the truth. You know, someone's got to cover this stuff. So they're going to come back to Brockenfeld with their golf clubs and their pungas. What did Chantel say? $700 what? What's 700, Tony? Rain for 2 weeks straight. Wonder if the likes of Netflix will make a documentary. That would be something, wouldn't it? The program would accept Afrikaners that live in other countries. Nope. 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 That's not how the law works. My development journey. Yeah, you can't come here. You're not in danger. This isn't immigration. You're not immigrating to America. Only people whose lives are in jeopardy, who fall under a certain category as identified by the president, are able to come here. You know, I don't know why people. I mean, I get why people ask questions because they probably want to come here, but you're already somewhere safe. You don't need to come here. Okay, Steve, check the alarms. Also, tones numerous generators in the background viewers. Okay. God, this guy's got a big freaking mouth. Oh, 700 likes, okay. Your weather in Pennsylvania sounds like heaven to me. Yeah, I don't like summer either. It's too hot and humid. Not my cup of tea. Not my cup of tea. Well, that's very kind of you, Rakes. Appreciate that. This man is helping South Afrikaners. Don't ask dumb questions. Since Afrikaners have already been identified as a vulnerable group in South Africa, do you believe we should qualify for emergency status due to the current... Yes. If you're asking me, Saki, my opinion, yes. I think you should qualify automatically based on President Trump's executive order. But I'm not the person who's running the program, so... But that would be my expectation, yep. That was a librarian, Colonel's librarian. You can tell them to keep quiet, but... That's not what the question was asked, Shelley Hepburn. It was asked, the question was if people are living in another country. Living in another country, you can't. If you're temporarily abroad for work, that's a different story. But you can't be living in another country. Am I planning an event for first batch? No, I'm not. Not. Two horn unicorns. I didn't know that. Okay. Have you felt the person in tariffs yet? Nope, I don't feel anything from tariffs yet. It just started, and I bought the things I needed before the tariffs were put into effect. Taking a retirement, 33 years in SAPS, I'm leaving. Okay. Do it down, I dare you. I'm going to ask you. What? What are you talking about, Gina? Tyrus should have been opposed. He supplied his plane for Bobby Kennedy. Yeah. Most no Americans don't know anything about it. They know nothing about it whatsoever. Trump has given the world a great opportunity to reset everything. Yep.
That would be, okay, I don't mind. I said that. His shade is part of that.
What's the biggest evacuation of refugees the U.S. ever carried out? Maybe the Afghanistan one. We took 160,000 in just a few weeks. It's pretty crazy. Cable figures upgrades stunning copper water pipes. Whole world seems a mess outside the USA at the moment. I want to see negative about everywhere. Yeah, it's pretty crazy, Jason. Chinese backing down. I understand of their laws, they have no restrictions on U.S. companies and products. I mean, they have to respect trademarks. They don't recognize them. China does have a lot of real estate. Most of it's leased. So they lease 100,000 hectare plots in Tanzania, for instance. So they hire former Zimbabwean farmers to farm them for them. I met a few of them. Finished 58 documents. Okay, well, Arna, good luck with that. Arapahoe County, Colorado, that's not online. Not off the top of my head, Mickey. Still waiting for the world-class school. EFF will never deliver that school. Well, Gio, I got American accent from birth, so I don't know the answer. Already used the tourist pass visa, but now afraid to return, so it's a Sodom an option. Not a good option, Leonard. Leon Leopard, not a good option. 97% of asylum seekers are denied. So maybe with the changed circumstance it might be, but that's not a chance you want to take. Yep. What else we got here? Thank you, G-Man. Did you have your interview with your friend who purchased a gun? I did, Johan Barkison, but I haven't had a chance to publish it. Yeah, I was reticent to publish it, so I didn't do it initially. Then I saw someone firing a gun at a protective vest, Kevlar, from China, Chinese body armor, and so I'm like, if you can shoot the gun, I'm just going to show a gun, so it should be all right. But I got to edit that still. Still got to edit. Don't you think this refugee status is giving premature? I think things will only get worse after. I don't think it's premature. Premature at all. Was looking trivia about my future country that can be found on. Okay. Coal mining West Virginia, they need Trump's help. Yeah, they do. Well, the mining industry has been under assault from the environmentalists, and the coal, the electricity industry, which is the biggest consumer, has been under assault too. So it's tough to. What else we got here? Theodora, no, it's not going to be the cat in the hat. Back in Chile. Wasn't it, got in, is flying next week? No, he's back in chat. Nice. Exactly, and it's, so I asked for evidence of it. I actually mentioned that to the interviewer from Reuters. I said, I have people coming in my chat who are claiming that they've got refugee status and they're going to be going to the States. And I'm like, tell me who, tell me when, tell me how. And they just disappear. There you go. Bill with only voter ID? Well, I'm not sure how that works because the federal government doesn't oversee elections, so I'll have to see what the bill says, the law says. You were told by U.S. company you have employment by them if you're current today, might placement. Yes, they might very well do that, Jason. So when you have your interview, say, listen, because they're going to ask you. So they're asking people in the interviews, do you know any Americans? And few of them say, yeah, we know Colonel Chris Wyatt. Anyway, but yeah, if you have an offer from an employer, you can tell them that, and they'll try to locate you as close as possible to that. Morning, Home Affairs passports on order, ready to go. Okay. Coke or Pepsi? Ah, it's Coke all the way. Well, thank you, Marcel. It looks like baby food. You take the consistency of baby food. It's orange, and we still want orange baby food. I don't care about orange baby food. Anyway, yeah. So, can I drop your name if I get an interview? I'm not interviewing. I just don't want to experience any power outages in 5 years? Yeah, occasionally. Substation gets damaged by weather, so, but I've never had a load shedding. I've never had hours of no power. It's just usually it flickers, it goes out, short time, it comes back. Yeah, everyone wants to use my name for reference. Well, my name has been mentioned in interviews. Do you know any Americans? Colonel Chris Wyatt. Yeah, keep mentioning me, folks. Keep mentioning me. If you get interviewed, it's fine with me. I don't have any problem with that. Anyway, wow, 413 people here, 719 likes, a bit of super chat money. Thank you for that. Don't worry, I know the answer. Okay, yeah, you can mention my name if you get interviewed. I don't have a problem with that. Gonna drop the Colonel White. Taliban signed the negotiated defense contract that would give South access to U.S. weaponry. What? Make a note for later on. Remember being super famous. Well, I was famous before and I didn't forget the people I knew. Make you famous. Do you think so? Jules, I think that while we wait, we can do some cheaper free online courses for cities. Yeah, there you go. You can do that. You're very welcome. My pleasure bringing the news. All right, let me go ahead and wrap it up here, folks, okay? So I'm going to wrap it up. Have a good day. Thanks for being here. I'm going to make a video, which I need to produce. I was hoping this guy would leave, but he hasn't left yet. Anyway, all right. Well, what's this? Saw what? Yeah, you should not ask for a state to go to for a job opportunities. They might think you're trying. Well, yes. Yes, but that's not what I said, Paul. That's good advice. Yeah, so let me unfold the scenario you're talking about there, Paul. So they ask you, is there anywhere you'd like to go? Yes, I want to go to Missouri because I have a job offer there. Okay, well, that's going to look badly. But when they ask you a question, is there anywhere you'd like to relocate to? Well, yes, actually, while I've been waiting for this program, hoping to get out, I've been offered a job and in Missouri, and I'd like to locate there if possible. So that's a different situation altogether. Okay. All right, guys, that's it. Take care. See you later. Hit the like button. Thanks.